Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Stratagem Bell and our guest Palo Alto webinar focused on SASE as a business accelerator. It is 1:01 p.m. today on the 26th of June. I'm going to give a couple more minutes for people to join and then we'll get started. So thanks for joining. Oh, there's James. Great. Hello, everybody. If you just joined, please give us a couple of seconds here. People are joining, so we're going to start in just 1 or 2 short minutes. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. We're going to start in just about 1 minute. We're just waiting for people to all hop on. Perfect. All right. So, hello. Thank you for joining us today on this wonderful sunny day here. Thank you for joining. Today, we are going to be talking about SASE as a business accelerator. We certainly know that you're busy, so we appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us for this session. I'm pleased to have Karan Chopra, the SASE and Network Security Domain Consulting Manager from Palo Alto, join us today, as well as James Miller, Director of Product Management here at Bell. So we have a nice, rounded 35, 45-minute conversation followed by questions. And here is our wonderful agenda. So we're going to go through what's happening when it comes to SASE, how do you accelerate growth, talk about best practices. We're going to have a live demo, and of course, we're going to go into the Q&A. And please note, you can definitely ask your questions in the question tab on the top right-hand side of the screen so that you can put in your questions there, and we will get to all of those questions at the end of the session. So with that, I invite James to start us off. And again, welcome everybody. James, over to you.
Thanks, Bev.
You got it.
Welcome, everyone. I'm very happy to be here with our partner, Palo Alto, so that we can talk about SASE and really how to implement without disruptions and how to keep managing it properly without disruptions. So the next slide, everybody wants the same business outcomes when it comes to a successful transition to SASE, and a lot of businesses of definitely, I would say the lower enterprise are definitely looking for it as a service. They just want to go into a co-management, full management. They want the provider to provide secure network and security. And when they do that, they expect certain outcomes after it. Of course, a lower cost than going it themselves with huge security stacks and data centers. And better visibility, especially with the modern tools, easier scalability, and reduced complexity. Now, the last two, I think you'll see, are going to be really why Palo Alto's here and why Bell's chosen to partner them in this strong partnership that we do have. So next slide. And I mean, we all know how connecting out safely to the internet worked. We all went to a security stack, and that stack had a lot of hardware and a lot of iron. And then we would branch out. And even in what we would call legacy SD-WAN, there would be some inherent security, but usually layer 3. And there's always a concern with what to layer on top for layer 7. It would drive complexity, drive extra logos you didn't want to see in your VPN SASE journey, definitely. And now, today, we have partners at Bell that can deliver everything together in a cloud model with proper visibility and a game-changing portal for both network and security all in one. And it will help Bell deliver better, easier outcomes, but also have the expectations that you, the customer, have been asking for a while. It's more at your fingertips than ever now. And then, but when you look at our next slide, really, if you're going to go it your own or whether you go with a partner like Bell, you need to do these processes. How does Bell do it and make sure that you have the right outcome you do? We are experts at assessing needs and risk. We also have had a history in SASE design and migration plans, proven that we can help with that assessment phase, that day one phase, looking how we're going to change you in this transformational journey to a full cloud SASE. And then we set everything up for you as part of the day one, as part of the delivery. And the delivery is a perfect mesh into the day two, and the day two management for the entire term of the contract has everything that was discovered and delivered into those monthly, yearly outcomes. And that includes change service requests, as well as expectedly incident management. And on the next slide, we want to really show that through our experience, we've had experiences before, but you can see multiple logos in our journey. If we had Zscaler, we needed someone for SD-WAN. If we had Cisco, then we usually looked at another vendor to layer on top in the past. But all of our journeys and our expertise have now been able to bring you a single SASE vendor with Palo Alto and their new platformization technique of combining all of security and network together, whether it's network, cloud, and of course, security. This really is a game changer that allows you to accelerate. If you haven't gone into a journey yet, it's going to simplify and give you the delivery outcome that you want faster and more understandable with better visibility, which will all move to cost savings and overall better performance. Now, we're going to accelerate the growth. We need to do it safely, and we need to do it proven. So the next slide, we map it to NIST. The NIST framework is respected globally, and so we want to make sure that we are identifying, we are looking at all the threats and risks. That's what we do every time we start to identify and assess how we set up the product, but also how to implement you, the customer. And from protecting to detecting to response to recovery, Stratagem and Bell together give you the best protection with everything that NIST wants in their controls. So we know that we've got everything here in the SASE protection with the Bell Stratagem Cyber Mesh. which I've talked about in other webinars, and I'm sure if you're no stranger to these webinars, you've heard about the cyber mesh. SASE is one more thing we can add to it. So we have 724 service desk support. We have online portals and 724 submission of any kind of request, any kind of incident. Proactively, we know the incident before you even have to call, because everything is being ingested into our cyber mesh through the SASE connectivity and the SD-WAN connectivity to SIM and a SOAR, so that not only are we ingesting and monitoring and managing, we've automated everything we can so that we can shut down any threat that could threaten your business in under 5 minutes. And then our threat hunting humans go in and can do the real work of how and why, and let's do that remediate so that we can learn to get you back to an identify stage and steady run rate stage, give you as much information as we can so that doesn't happen again. And that is the power of bringing a partner with strong SASE network security capability into Bell's and Stratagem's 24/7 management cyber mesh. It's instant remediation, it's automated remediation. You don't have time for eyes on glass to find the issue. You want it shut down so that you're not finding it, you're threat hunting it at that point while the customer is perfectly safe. And with that, I'm going to I think this is your area, Karan, correct?
That is correct, James. Thank you so much for setting the stage here. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for making the time to speak with us today and listen to our sort of point of view and opinions around how SASE should be implemented without disruption, of course. As again, James mentioned earlier, our goal is to help your customers go into an acceleration journey and grow, however, do it securely. So again, as James pointed out, we'll certainly be discussing about some of the key challenges that we've seen organizations face as they're going through this network transformation journey. And you'll also notice how Bell Canada is leveraging Palo Alto's Prisma SASE as a portfolio to deliver the solution and provide you, the customers, you, the enterprises, ability to reduce the tool sprawl, the vendor sprawl that you see in your networks. So we'll certainly, before we talk about SASE, let's understand where SASE sits in the context of network security, right? We all know we are not solving SASE as a point product, because if you look at the current traditional security stacks within any organization, they are fragmented, unfortunately, and disjointed. And as organizations are evolving, we do see that they are solving these issues, solving these problems piecemeal. You are adding more security tools by leveraging source by source, destination by destination, connection by connection problem statements that you see in your network. But now you think about the new challenges that continue to emerge, new markets that are emerging. You definitely see Gen AI getting used quite often now. Runtime security for your custom AI application, because AI is sort of the buzzword right now being spoken about. So what do you do in these situations? Most likely the options that you may have are to, again, add yet another individual tool to protect those use cases that you have, or add yet another choke point in your network where all that traffic needs to traverse through that new tool from a security standpoint. But when you have those situations, you are creating more friction for your customers, for your users, for your employees to do their work, to do their business, and it reduces their productivity. And when those situations happen, we again know what happens there, where when users end up circumventing your security controls. So that is where sort of Prisma SASE comes into the picture, right? So I like to for you folks to understand Prisma SASE and how it works a bit better. It's all set up under the context around Zero Trust Network Access 2.0, which Palo Alto is leveraging as part of the design that you will see as these slides go through today. So our approach is, regardless of where your users are, regardless of the devices they're consuming, leveraging, or any location that they're accessing your network through and trying to get to their business critical application, we intend for them to do it securely and reliably. So how that functions. So again, the premise of zero trust begins with we have to intercept all the traffic that comes from users, locations, devices that they're coming in onto the network. And by default, our motto is to deny, so that we do not have any implicit trust to the traffic that comes into the network. So the step after that is where we now need to identify who the user is. So get some additional contextual insights around their role, their behavior, the permissions that they might have, and continue to verify that throughout the entire transaction of that traffic that will move through your network to the destination. And we leverage user ID as the context there. The next thing that we now need to understand is the device that they're coming in from. Is it a managed device? Is it an unmanaged device? So that we, again, have that additional context around who the user is, what the device they're consuming. And finally, what application are they trying to leverage? Are they trying to access? And again, based on their role, based on their behavior, we are, again, collecting that contextual insight into these things. So the three key components of Prisma SASE with respect to Zero Trust Network Access is around user ID, device ID, and app ID. Now, we again need to make sure, though, if it's a connection that needs to be allowed, we establish that connection and we secure that traffic while making sure nothing in this posture of the entities change as the traffic comes through. So nothing changes with respect to the user, their behavior, the device, and the application that they're trying to access. So that is where the continuous trust verification comes into the picture. The next thing, again, what we do with respect to Prisma SASE is we do all this by using our inline security models, while leveraging our patented precision AI technology, where we are continuously training that from collective threat data that we are collecting from 70+ thousand customers worldwide. This essentially ends up creating a network effect of threat prevention. And again, as you can see on the data here, that has allowed us to mitigate and stop nearly 9 million zero-day threats, new zero-day threats that we are looking at pretty much every day. Again, so you'll notice there are situations where you may not be able to inspect all the live traffic coming in inline, because not every traffic that comes in could be decrypted because of any business reasons or the applications that you might be leveraging. So you'll notice something new on the screen there, and this is one of the newest innovations that Palo Alto Networks has, and Bell as a managed service is leveraging that as part of their overall solution, the Prisma Access browser, where irrespective of the endpoint, we are able to provide you the last mile protection, even if the data or the traffic cannot be decrypted. So how do we deliver this is going to be the key conversation point here as well. So what we are leveraging is the industry's three largest cloud security providers are partnerships with Google Cloud, GCP, AWS, and the latest to the addition is OCI, or Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. what do you end up getting with this highly most resilient sort of backbone that we are leveraging as part of our solution is high availability. You are looking at multi-cloud redundancy across these three cloud security service providers here, multi-regional redundancy. We are also leveraging dedicated infrastructure on a per customer basis. So what you eventually get is customer data plane isolation as well. And it's highly scalable, again, considering it is built, the Prisma SASE solution is built on the largest CSPs out there. We have a premium fiber backbone, and again, augmented by Bell's underlay network as well, right? So last but not the least, on the slide, as we would notice, and we've just touched upon the Prisma Access browser, we also are able to provide you with business continuity plans around in situations where your endpoints are, the managed endpoints are not available. You're still able to continue running your business with the support of Prisma Access browser here. All this infrastructure, the architecture that we have built delivers you, again, industry-leading uptimes, 5 nines of SLA, 10 millisecond of security processing, 35 millisecond. And we are one of the only few partners out here who is able to commit to SLAs on a SaaS performance level as well. And we will touch upon like how are we able to deliver that in the upcoming slides here. So again, as James set the stage earlier, we intend to ensure there's operational excellence, and we are able to take you on this journey without having for you to worry about how you're able to manage, how you're able to operationalize SASE as a concept, as a solution within your networks, right? So now again, you have the best-in-class infrastructure, the best-in-class architecture there. But you'll still notice there are issues that potentially exist, say on an application level, and it is definitely a daunting task for your IT teams to identify root causes. So consider me as a user, I'm trying to access Salesforce. There are issues that could arise across that entire sort of trajectory of the traffic that moves between you as the source or a user all the way to the destination, which is an application. Is it the issue on the user's device itself? Is it the router? You have a weak Wi-Fi signal. Is it the network congestion, application performance? So pinpointing that, and to quote again James earlier, this is where we want to be more proactive. We want to, again, enable Bell to be able to detect and remediate these issues in advance of even you as a user knowing about these challenges coming up. And this is how we on Prisma SASE are able to deliver you that proactive identification of those issues before they even happen. What we are leveraging is our autonomous digital experience management as a concept here, as a tool, which will be able to detect with AI-powered analysis across your user to application connectivity. We gather a lot of contextual granular insights and logs for getting that end-to-end visibility on the performance. And this allows Bell as a partner to isolate those root causes and problems and proactively remediate them. In addition to autonomous digital experience management, we have added another capability around real-time user monitoring. So in the past, you were able to potentially detect issues at an application level. So Salesforce potentially is not available. But then there's other microservices underneath that particular application. So that's what sort of differentiates us, where you are able to go pinpoint all the way down to potentially your Salesforce login page is the one that's not working. So that's where real-time user monitoring comes into play and is able to help and assist in pinpointing those challenges and figure out the root cause and then take the remediation steps after. Okay, now with this overall architecture, we've been able to secure all your use cases. So we have been able to secure all users, all applications, all locations that your users might be connecting into your network. We've also, again, delivered some operational excellence with ADEM and RUM as a concept. But again, if you go back to sort of our level set that we had earlier on in this conversation, there's a challenge in managing policies today because you may have users, again, working from home, from branches, from headquarters, with disparate products, disparate controls that you potentially have in your network today. That could essentially mean you're managing three different policies with three different approaches. Again, we all know if the policy is dependent on a user's location, that will certainly result in a weak, inconsistent security posture. It certainly impacts your productivity negatively as well. And let's be honest here that in order to maintain and keep up with those policies, it just adds to the cost. So going back to James's point earlier, the whole conversation here is also rooted in how can we reduce the TCO, right? So that's where what Prisma SASE delivers as a solution, as a platform, is a unified policy orchestrator that we leverage using Strata Cloud Manager, which essentially allows you to cascade a single policy irrespective of the enforcement points. You could be a user at home, you could be a user at a branch, you could be a user at headquarters. You are getting the same level of security across the board. And in order for, again, from a best practices approach, we continue to optimize those security policies. If you remember seeing a few slides before, the 70,000+ customers that we have on our platforms, we are leveraging the best practices and we are able to optimize those security policies leveraging those concepts. So overall, again, with the ability that we have to deliver use cases across the board, operational resilience with ADEM and RUM, user experience, exceptional user experience that we are able to provide in a singular platform with the management console that you see as a Strata Cloud Manager there, we are certainly the most comprehensive SASE platform in the industry, and we're definitely proud to partner with Bell in delivering a great customer experience, a great user experience, and again, enabling you and the businesses to go about doing what you do best without having to worry about how you can do it safely. Some of the components, again, on the Prisma SASE are the Prisma Access as a solution for secure remote access from anywhere. We've touched upon that earlier. Prisma Access Browser, again, we will again run you through a quick demo today on that as well, and I'll quickly walk you through sort of the concepts and the references there. And Prisma SD-WAN, of course, for secure branch connectivity. So we are able to deliver multiple layers of operational resiliency, again, able to deliver exceptional user experience as well. And all this to then again lay the foundation that we are able to allow you to reduce your total cost of ownership. Instead of having myriads of point products solving very point problems, and as you're evolving, you keep adding those in your security stack, that is not the best approach, and that's where Palo Alto's Prisma SASE as a singular platform, having ability to solve and provide outcomes for multiple use cases, eventually helps you reduce that total cost of ownership. And it's just not me speaking about that. Gartner, as an industry leading provider of these details here, is calling out Palo Alto Networks as the leader in single vendor SASE, SSE as a component of SASE, as well as SD-WAN for a number of years now. And it's just not the industry analysts, but also our customers globally are calling out the number that you see is continuing to change on a daily basis. We are north of 6,000 customers who are leveraging SASE from Palo Alto Networks with partners like Bell across the globe. So as I said earlier, I'll certainly walk you folks through a quick demo around the Prisma Access browser as a concept. So we all know, all of us are continuing to leverage browsers on a pretty much daily basis to do almost 100% of our business. Most applications, most data that you're consuming is on the browser. And we also know the browser is inherently not secure, right? Like it has vulnerabilities. You would have seen a number of reports that come out talking about the most latest CVEs, the most latest breaches that are happening on the browser. And then we also know there are a number of use cases out there where you have contractors. You cannot have managed devices for every employee within your organization. So that's where this is sort of the latest addition that we have on our side of the world with Prisma Access browser, where we are able to secure any usage, any application, be it private, be it SaaS, through this browser. And this is the only secure browser that is natively integrated within SASE. So the Prisma Access browser is sort of powered and is leveraging the same backend of Prisma Access as a platform. And we continue to evolve the capabilities by providing you the security against evolving threats that exist on the browser. Again, things that you already know what Palo Alto Networks brings to the table: advanced wildfire, AI-powered URL filtering, advanced threat protection. All of those capabilities are available on this browser. So as you can see, you can label this browser with your logos from your organization. In this situation, we are speaking with Bell here, so this browser could be demoed as a Bell's browser, where the Bell administrator could create their company shortcuts. They could have their own updates that are being consumed by the employees. You can create conditional access policies where you ensure that the only browser that can be used within your organization is the Prisma Access browser. So there are certain concepts that I'll walk you folks through today. I'll start by showing you a component here. Like you have a concept of business application. You have concept of, you could have personal application. You have risky application. So you can create granular policies coaching your employees on ensuring that they understand what are these applications and what purpose do these applications deliver as part of your business. And certainly you definitely saw ChatGPT. So our goal is not to reduce productivity in an organization. We definitely want organizations to grow and leverage the newest capabilities out there. However, we definitely want to ensure that the consumption of these applications is being done securely. So I'll start with sort of a business application, Salesforce, as a goal here. So you'll notice a concept here called data masking. So you can have just-in-time access for users and departments within your organization based on need-to-know basis. So for example, credit card data. Maybe not everybody in an organization needs to have access, but you can certainly request for that access to be provided. So if you have given that user the rights to unmask based on the just-in-time access, they want to use this data for any business purposes, they are able to. So this is sensitive data, so they can still request for it to be unmasked. So you are able to see now the credit card data here. However, you again don't want your employees or to be able to pull this information into their personal applications, for example, right? So or a risky application for that matter. So let's take John Greenberg as an example. This is their SIN number. Am I going to be able to copy this data into ChatGPT? No, because we have created that secured policy that any data that does not need to leave your business applications will not be allowed to be even copied or pasted. Say now you may say, okay, I can memorize this data and try and type it. So you can further have granular control on type guard as well. So let's just try this out. And it detected that it was sensitive data, and it does not allow me to even type that data into an application like ChatGPT. Another thing that I'll certainly walk you folks through today is, say, again, from a conditional access policy box, like we all use these applications. I have my personal email address. It will not even allow me to use my personal email on application that could lead to data exfiltration of sensitive data. But I can certainly log in with my corporate email address. So this is sort of the demo email address we have here. I will log on to it, and I'm able to log through. Now, we also did talk about sort of at the back end, you are leveraging, again, the best-in-class security capabilities of Prisma Access. So let me try and download, like this is a malicious file, I'll tell you that, but say you're trying to download it. You will have a step-up authentication capability as well. So if you want to add another layer of security, another layer of control, you can do so. Now, I have been able to step up and allow myself to download certain data because I need this data, but I am continuously being protected against any malware, again, leveraging things that I just touched upon, advanced wildfire, URL filtering, threat prevention, everything that you get with Prisma SASE. And again, as I said, this is the concept around business application. This is a private application. So you may have certain private applications that you're hosting in your own data centers or on your private cloud. So we are tagging that application as private app, but you'll also notice a logo up here, which is the Prisma Access logo. So this particular traffic is directly getting protected and connected through Prisma Access with its off-ramp capabilities, like the service connection and the ZTNA connector. I will be clicking on an application, Atlassian or Confluence, which we are tagging as secret. What will come up on the share screen should be, you will see nothing, because we are considering this as a secret application where we are consuming proprietary data. Like there could be Jira tickets that your development teams might be leveraging for new product development. You do not want it even to be shared if you're sharing screen, let alone taking a screenshot, right? So what you're seeing is blocked. Like you are unable to see the screen that I'm sharing because we have tagged and we have granularly created security policies around applications that are considered secret. Yeah, so these were some of the use cases that we have. And again, if you're interested, we are more than happy to dig deeper, run individual sessions on these capabilities that Palo Alto Networks has been releasing on a continuous basis, innovating on continuous basis within a singular platform so that we are able to, again, allow you to secure bravely, grow bravely without having to worry about security challenges that exist with adding new use cases. Consumption of Gen AI applications. Again, we are not blocking that, but we are enabling you to consume these applications as safely as possible. I'll hand it back to you, James, for the close here.
Absolutely, and thank you for that demo. It's interesting every time I see it. I've seen it a few times, and I think I notice something new every time. and we'd
Yep,
be happy to go
and
over.
there will be more and more use cases coming up. And again, we are always happy to hear from our customers what are some of the requirements that they have within the space of secure browser or any other application or any other tool set that they're bringing on. And we'd love to sort of hear those feedback. And again, we're happy to dig deeper and run separate sessions on some of these things.
So in summary, I hope that we've shown that by taking a leader in cybersecurity like Bell Stratagem and a leader in integrated network security, SASE platforms like Palo Alto, we're giving you a leading cloud security stack, end-to-end connectivity where we can granularly look through ADEM and RUM, exactly where a fault lies in the chain, get at it faster, and hopefully customers see no disruption. Then we do that 7/24, and we are constantly building use cases for more automation in this space so that all our SOC representatives who are there around the clock are doing more threat hunting and not doing any kind of manual, wasteful management that could be done automatically. We're giving customers as well as ourselves this united visibility so that customers can see the tool, customers can see the reports, and we're absolutely aligned to compliance here in Canada, not only through NIST, but through ITSG, and making sure that everything that we build for you stays native in Canada in a security sovereign cloud with our partners. And of course, to give you the outcomes that you expect and you need to securely run your business. So thank you.
Perfect. Again, every time I'm on these calls, I learn something as well. So thank you very much for that, James and Karan. For all of you who are on the call, you can definitely take a picture of their QR code and connect with them. And now there's a few questions that came in. So I'm going to flip these back over to you, gentlemen. So question number one, how do you see SASE evolving over the next few years, especially as hybrid work continues to be the norm? So there are organizations that are asking people to come back to work 5 days a week. We're on a hybrid 2-day-a-week model, but people are really asking, so what happens next? So maybe I'll flip that over to you, Karan. We can start with you, then we'll go to James.
Absolutely, yeah. So again, as we touched upon, the number of use cases that keeps evolving as the days goes by. We started with remote users when COVID hit. So that was a key sort of change in the ways the businesses used to work. Now with leveraging the browser, enterprise browser as another sort of on-ramp to your network, we definitely see the evolution of how users are consuming applications. They might be at their home office or at their headquarters or their data centers, irrespective of, again, as I stated earlier, be it a user, be it an application, be it a location, even if the data cannot even be decrypted because of business reasons or otherwise, we are definitely seeing those use cases evolving. And that was certainly one of the key reasons why Palo Alto Networks looked into putting more innovations towards enterprise browser and fully integrating that as part of the Prisma SASE platform, right? So you do not have to, again, look for individual point solutions, but you are able to consume and evolve your journey towards, again, productivity, growth, consumption of AI applications without having to worry about adding yet another point solution in your security stack. So any evolution that happens with respect to how data is consumed, we are there as a partner to ensure you are able to get that delivered as part of a single platform, which is Prisma SASE.
Love it. Thank you. James, did you add anything to Karan's response?
Yes, I'd like to add about the final points he made about consumption. There are businesses going back to the office 5 days a week, but they're in multiple branches and no longer can go through a standard legacy security stack to get to some of the new modern um, platforms and business applications that we've been discussing. They require different types of connectivity. Also, work doesn't stop at 9 to 5 anymore. You need to work safely from wherever you need to do the work. And that could be back at home. That could be stopping at a coffee shop on the way to get groceries and somebody's pinged you and you need to do something right away. This allows the safe transfer, consumption of the business applications no matter where you are.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Next question. What are the most common misconceptions organizations have when transitioning to a SASE model? I'll throw it back to you, Karan, to start, and then I'll come to you, James.
Yeah, so again, you can take different routes to that journey. There could be different a phased approach that you intend to take. You can have a complete shift from your existing infrastructure architecture to a SASE solution. So you don't have to pick and choose before you make that choice. You can always go in from a phased approach standpoint. Again, I'll go back to Prisma Access Browser as one of the ways that you can start to get on that journey, start ensuring, irrespective again, if it's a managed device or unmanaged device, you can start consuming SASE as a concept, zero trust network access as a concept. And as you grow in your in the business that you're in, and or as you evolve your network, you can start consuming other components. Or again, if you want to completely transform your network from day zero, absolutely, that's a possibility as well. So there's multiple ways to get on that journey. That I wouldn't call it misconception per se, but sometimes a challenge that a lot of customers see or think about, that it is a tedious task to completely change the architecture that they're on. They can start slow and steadily and grow as they go. James, what are your thoughts? Like, what have you seen within the space, that as a partner, as a service provider, what you've seen with your customers?
Yeah, thanks. Because I've seen here in Canada the two extremes in between the journey that you're talking about. One extreme at the start is, well, this is just a fancy VPN and I don't think I need it. And as we've seen, SASE is the future of zero trust. Nothing in your legacy VPN solution sets you up to that. To the other extreme, where we require this for some new business apps, therefore we have to go in all in, buy it all, and have a huge deficit in our budget for X number of months, years, without coming to a partner and a trusted advisor like Bell Stratagem with Palo Alto in hand, going, no, we will make it work for your budget. Tell us exactly what you need, and then we'll tell you exactly what you need to consume. And that's the strength of going in, not just the 724 automated management, which we excel at, but that day one identify that what is your journey. You don't know, we'll help you find it. And we'll do it with our partner, Palo, with you. And I think that's the key of not going it alone and finding a trusted advisor like ourselves.
I love that. So true. All right, third question. How can companies balance performance and security when deploying SASE across global teams? James, you want to start with this one? We'll take it over
Yeah,
to
I
Pat.
do want to start with that one, because
Okay.
we've lived it in our past too and found it's going to be easier with Palo Alto. But part of that day one journey is to identify where you need to go and where your resources are. And do you have, a large branch in another country outside Canada? I'm thinking of Germany and one that happened recently. And so we work to make sure that we have the use cases to identify if any link goes down in that part of the world. And we can see it in a global cloud portaled SASE solution like we're showing off here. And that gets us to the problem quicker. And it's not just because we can see everything all over the globe. We've worked with the client to target possible disruption points because of where they are.
Yeah, I'll certainly second what James sort of pointed out earlier. But I'll also say, right, like it's extremely important for us to understand sort of the on-ramps. What are the use cases? Who are the users? Where do they reside? What applications are being accessed? So that we can come up with the most appropriate solution, the most appropriate architecture. But underneath the surface, again, as I pointed out earlier in my conversation today, we are leveraging sort of the three largest cloud secure service providers out there. The infrastructure that you're getting delivered is highly resilient, highly available. It's just how we architect that solution to meet the specific needs, the specific outcomes that the business is trying to drive is going to be the key how we are able to enable those customers and leveraging this solution, not just within the Canadian territories for that matter, but across the globe, because our workforce is distributed. You have these availability zones, these connectivities as close to the user as possible so that we do not disrupt their productivity. We do not have them sort of circumvent any control because of the previous generation of security stack that existed that caused those challenges for the end users in doing their work securely.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for that. And last question. For organizations who are just starting out with SASE, what are the top 2 or 3 things you want them to be aware of so that as they start on this journey that they should know? I'll start with you, Karan, then we'll go to you, James.
Yeah, I think I'll be repeating myself, right? But it's extremely important that whatever your use cases are, whatever your journey is to transform your network, we are here to support you. But yeah, one of the few more important things that the customers can think through is, again, go back and look at who your users, what sort of access do you intend to provide those users, what applications, what destinations are they trying to get to, so that we can create those policies as granularly as possible so that you're not leaving and providing that implicit trust that leads to more flaws in your network, more cybersecurity threats within your network, right? So it's important we partner with them. We again provide our perspective, but also take that feedback and learn from those use cases to deliver the best outcomes, the best solutions, and best architecture that could be deployed by those customers.
Perfect.
And I'll add that if you're starting out and wanting to know how to get that technology and that secure solution into your organization, the skill set is quite scarce right now. So I think that the best way and the fastest way to get up and running with it is to come to a trusted advisor and an MSSP that not only can manage this for you, have Palo Alto nearby. We have shared partnerships that allow us to contact them as a fourth tier when we need them, but also I think we're up to over 170 certifications this week in SASE. So we've got the skill set that is not readily available out there, and they are trained and they are experienced.
Wonderful. Great time today. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us. Thank you everybody on this call who took time out of your day to join us as well. We will be sharing this presentation post-event, and we look forward to seeing you next month. So again, Karan, James, thank you for your time. Thank you everybody for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.